Bom, estamos aqui na presença do Sr. Fredrik Gustafson, Vice-Presidente, líder do Marketing e Product Sales da Saab, da área da Kockums, na Suécia. Queria agradecer a sua presença aqui e eu tenho umas perguntas para lhe fazer sobre navios Caça-Minas e a Guerra de Minas, que eu acho que o Kockums tem bastante experiência para poder sanar algumas dúvidas que nós temos. Então, eu gostaria de saber, a primeira pergunta é qual o papel da Guerra de Minas e como poderia ser aplicada num país como o Brasil? What is the role of naval mine warfare and can it apply to a country like Brazil?
Yeah, absolutely. I think any country with a coast, any country with important ports for import and export can be affected by mine warfare. What we've seen today, and I think that is one of the, should I say, fascinating aspects with mine warfare. It is on one side very cheap to conduct. To produce these mines are quite simple and fairly inexpensive. So not only countries and an military enemy, but also terrorist or criminal organizations could actually use mines. On the other hand, it's extremely difficult and quite expensive to identify and find those mines. Whereas the damage they can do to any country to limit all the traffic in and out of the port, and what we've seen recently in the tragic war in Ukraine, that you actually stop all the transports and all the trade in out from a country, and that can ruin any country's economy very quick if you have or are dependent on your ports and your foreign trade. So I would say yes, that could be definitely a scenario you could foresee in Brazil.
Okay. So, esse tipo de guerra naval está sendo usado, no caso, na guerra da Ucrânia agora, caso positivo, existe já algumas lições que nós possamos aprender? Is this type of naval warfare being employed in the case of the war in the Ukraine? If yes, are there any lessons to be learned?
Yeah. As I just mentioned, Ukraine is heavily dependent on their ports in the Black Sea. And we saw what happened when suddenly they discovered mines in the Black Sea. Suddenly all the trades and the traffic in and out was limited, and you have to start to sweep the area. But also what you saw that the mines, even they were dropped in one place, suddenly they went loose from their anchoring, and suddenly there were mines not all over the place, but in an unknown place. So suddenly you have to start to look for them and sweep the area and hunt for the mine. And that had a huge impact. And we also saw neighboring countries that suddenly bumped into mines with severe consequences. So yes, we've seen that, and we have, I believe, not seen the end of the mine warfare in that tragic situation in Ukraine still.
O senhor poderia nos mostrar como que a Saab ela apoia a Marinha Sueca nessa capacidade para a Guerra de Minas?
Yeah, so Saab, we have, well, from the beginning, supported Sweden and Swedish Navy with our products. We have worked closely with the Swedish Navy, and one should remember that the Swedish Navy is operating in a very complicated environment. The Baltic Sea, we estimate there are some 50,000 mines since the First and Second World War all over. So they live in a live scenario virtually every day in a very complex environment. And there, together with the Swedish Navy, Saab has been working to develop our product. And also, together with the Swedish Navy, have this balanced approach where we combine manned mine countermeasure vessels together with unmanned supporting systems, both on surface and under surface.
Perfeito. A tecnologia de veículos não tripulados está se desenvolvendo muito rapidamente. A Saab está acompanhando os acontecimentos nessa área de veículos não tripulados? O senhor acredita que irão substituir o uso dos navios caça-minas no futuro?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a totally unmanned scenario in the future. I mean, not within foreseeable future. I think it will be more unmanned, but we have to walk carefully and slowly in that direction. And Saab, we invest some 20% equally our turnover in R&D. A lot of that research and development right now is going into autonomous and unmanned systems, something that we apply on the mine counter warfare situation as well. And I think it's important, since this technology is developing so fast, one should be careful before you take too big steps in that direction, but really try to understand for what you should use these systems. And we're not only talking the platform themselves, we're talking the control and command system, the links in between the communication. So it's a quite complex scenario. One have to think twice before you run in one direction. But I truly believe in the balanced approach with manned and unmanned platforms. And then how much you make them autonomous, that's the next step. Just because they are not unmanned, they could be remotely controlled, but also doing autonomous, that's another step. And I think we will see more and more unmanned autonomous system replacing what we call the dull and dangerous missions. Once you identify the mine, you'd send an unmanned system to take out the mine. Or if you're in a place where you actually can't reach with a manned vehicle, you can use unmanned vehicles as well. So that balanced approach is something that we have been working closely with the Swedish Navy, and that's an approach I think we will see within all of the foreseeable future.
Okay. A Saab está disposta, neste caso, a compartilhar os seus conhecimentos adquiridos ao longo desses anos com outras marinhas, com outros clientes?
Could I please take that in English as well? My Portuguese is a bit limited.
No problem. Okay. Is Saab prepared to share its knowledge acquired over the long time of involvement in this area?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry for not understanding the Portuguese again. No, absolutely. This is what we do. We work closely together with other customers, both in the air domain, land domain, and naval domain. And absolutely, this is something that we are fully prepared to share, indeed.
Okay. So, Fred, please, could you tell us about the difference between a magnetic steel hull and a composite hull?
Yeah, metal and composite material, of course, by nature it is different, but some benefits with both of them. Some customers as well choose the concept with metal anti-magnetic hull, and some others, like the Swedish Navy, with composite material. And I think one big difference is the weight. We think that the magnetic hull would be some 30 to 50% heavier than a composite hull, and that does not only mean a heavier vessel with higher fuel consumption, all those things, which requires bigger engine, but also you increase the pressure signature, which will make the vessel more sensitive to mines actually, and increase the risk for hitting a mine. But also we work a lot with technology transfer that we've seen in many cases all over the world where Saab have worked with partners, and we believe that the composite material technology is much more usable in other areas, related areas, where you can actually learn from building a hull to apply that to other areas, whereas a metal magnetic hull is less useful in other areas, if I should put it like that.
And the maintenance of the composite hull is, we can understand, is not too hard or difficult than a magnetic hull?
No, again, back to the Swedish Navy and the experience we have from there. They have been working with this for many, many decades, and they continue with that, and we see that with other navies as well that have been working with composite hulls. That is not a problem.
Perfect. So the last question is, could an MCM like the Swedish Navy use, could they be used in Brazil for more or different functions, as a patrol vessel, for example?
Well, yeah, that one advantage of Sweden being fairly small with a fairly limited budget, that all the products we develop for Sweden, normally they are used in a quite broad spectrum, even though the main purpose may be mine countermeasure vessels. They can be used in other areas as well, because Sweden, with the limitations, but it can't afford to have specified vessels for every single mission. So absolutely it can be used as a patrol vessel as well.
Okay, so e de Defesa Euronaval, gostaria de agradecer o seu tempo e a oportunidade para essa entrevista. Muito obrigado pelo seu tempo, Fredrik.
Muito obrigado a vocês.